So here we are in Norway. Did you imagine that when I tricked you to do this job years ago, that we would end up here?
In my wildest dreams, I never imagined. But you know, in hindsight, maybe we should have taken this trip before we shot.
Right, yeah, right. The big thing I wanted to do with the game is to make the players feel small, right? To make the world feel so big that we used to have things, big monsters, right? And that would make the player feel small because the monsters are really big. But I think it's, you know, not having been able to come out here and see all of this, it's kind of cool to feel like we were able to replicate some of this to make you feel just very, very, very small. Right. So what did you need to do to prepare? So when you got the gig, you said, all right, I'm gonna play Kratos. What were some of the things you were doing to prepare?
I think the hardest thing for me to do was to be a blank slate. I remember one of our first scenes, I came to you and I said, I don't know how far you want me to take this as the character, because I don't know what's been established. You said, we're resetting it. Go. We're rolling with it. Blow the doors off it.
Kratos, the sort of origin and the lineage of him was to create this anti-hero, right? This character who was sort of the embodiment of rage. But in this one, we're kind of switching things up and sort of trying to create the second chapter in his life, right? The guy who is pure rage is trying to figure out how to control that. For you, how do you see his character now?
You know, you talked a little bit about his past, but I think you have to look at the commonality of him. Like, how does parenting change anyone? Yeah. It's easy to give the lip service when your offspring doesn't know anything about you. Yeah. But then when your offspring finds out the things that you did when you were young, what does that do to the advice that you're giving?
But at least I know the truth now.
The truth.
Are you on board?
Okay!
The truth.
We've done everything we can. We've, you know, toiled on this thing for years. So many people, hundreds and hundreds of people have been involved in this thing for so long. So much of our hearts and souls have gone into this. Yeah, I guess. How does it feel for you to be done?
You know, it's weird to say the words we're finished. Right. You know, it has been part of our lives for so long. But now, as you said, we sit back and let it fly. Yeah. Let it fly. Fly, God of War.
Right. Fly. God of War.
Can you kill something that big?
All right. So that's good.
PS4 for the players.